Hi everyone, Deborah Swan here. It's been a while since I've done a video. I'm sure those of you who have been following the Charles Dyer saga have wondered where all of this went. I have still been involved with assisting Charles, as well as a couple of other of us, E-Dog and the supporter Chris out of Afghanistan. We have been diligently working with Charles. I talk to Charles about every other day on the phone. I've been talking to him, gosh, shoot, since right before his conviction and after, on a regular basis. Just to give everyone an update. And I want to bring a couple of points out to the public to think about. Those of you who've been following this from the beginning and have watched all the entertaining from the support group around Charles's situation. And Charles now is seeing who is really who. Unfortunately, I hate to say, but I was right when it comes to these people not really helping Charles. You would think that since they're the ones who found the attorney for Charles, that at least, you know, since his 30-year conviction was what happened to him, that's the outcome, and Charles, his attorney Albert Hawk, did not do a damn thing like he was supposed to do for Charles. You would think that these people, Darren Wilburn, Amelia Foxwell, Shane Sheffield, Nancy Genovese, all these people who have been, you know, hurdled around his situation, and by the way, who none of them have written Charles except Rick. And Rick Light, aka Minuteman, wrote him one time, and that one letter was just asking Charles to write a public statement saying that Rick is not working or has never worked directly with the FBI against Charles. And ever since then, he hasn't heard back from Rick. Okay? That's the only letter Rick has ever written to Charles, was wanting him to say, you know, a statement saying Charles doesn't think he's working with the FBI. So that saddens me, and unfortunately Charles now sees who's who, and it's just, you know, it is what it is. These people have never worked for Charles, and they aren't doing anything for him after the fact. This is when the fight begins right now. We all know that he got railroaded, okay? We all know that he had that he's not guilty of this. So we're just going to give up on this man? I mean, that's it? Come on, people. You know, this is when we have to really come together and fight for this man's freedom, because now he really can't do it sitting behind in the jail cell. And we have now the proof that we need to expose this county, Stevens County, for the unlawful and violations against Charles Dyer's constitutional rights to due process. He's got ample amount of prosecutorial misconduct charges, ineffective counsel charges, and misdirection of a judge. Okay, and many, many more things that he can be doing now that we're helping him with. So the fight has just begun, and we're about ready to expose all of the violations, and hopefully the media somewhere will pick it up, because this man is innocent, and his defense still to this day has never been told properly or with truthful proof and the facts that this man has to show that he is innocent. And let me tell you one other very interesting fact. That Charles had a polygraph test set up in Stevens County to help with his defense. He requested a polygraph. So a company came in, set up their polygraph equipment, had it all ready to go, and Judge Enos of Stevens County decides to barge in there and tell the polygraph examiner to stop, and that he did not want this happening in his courtroom, and to shut it down and to take it over to the sheriff's department. So this polygraph examiner did exactly what the judge told him to do, wrapped everything up, went over to the sheriff's department with Charles, set everything up again, and then the sheriff comes in and tells Charles, no, you're not going to do this in my sheriff's office. Sorry, this is a breach of security, and it's not allowed. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, these people are supposed to want a fair trial for Charles if they were good people. The judge would have no problem allowing this man to have a polygraph test, and neither would the sheriff. I mean, what's it matter if they, you know, especially if these people believe Charles is guilty, let the man do a polygraph test, for Christ's sake. So Charles paid for this polygraph test, and it was never finished. So first he lost his money, and second, the judge and the sheriff both nip it in the bud and don't even let it happen. That's just one little example of details that I found out over so many things that have gone completely against this man still. And no one that you would think this group have done anything to help. And the U.S. Observer that I hired with my friend, that supporter that came forward and paid 10 grand, they are compromised. They got compromised. So all the lies that they're saying out there, the things that they're trying to say that I'm the reason why Charles's appeal is going to go bad, and that's a flat out lie, and Charles knows it's a lie. Okay, Charles sees the real deal. He sees who's who now. His word was that all the people that were supposed to be his support group around his mom pushed the eject button, and that's exactly what he said. He's never even spoken to Shane Sheffield, ever. Darren and Amelia have never even written him a letter, and they're the ones that worked to find his attorney for him. That was horrible. That Charles will tell you how horrible he was. Didn't do anything like he was supposed to. Didn't even call witnesses. He had 34 witnesses on a witness list, and Albert Hawk wouldn't call them. He called 5. That was Charles, the child, the mother, the girlfriend, the family members. But the really important witnesses that Charles needed the jury to hear from, like police officers in Charles's favor, the forensic interviewer on the computer hard drive. I mean, all these critical witnesses Charles needed the jury to hear were never called because of Mr. Albert Hawk Jr. that Darren Wilburn and Amelia Foxwell found for Mrs. Dyer. And let me remind you the sales pitch that Albert Hawk gave Mrs. Dyer. First, he told Mrs. Dyer that he was a Marine, which is a lie. Second, he told Mrs. Dyer that his usual fee was $250,000 fee, but he was going to do Charles's case for only 30 grand since Charles is innocent and since he's a Marine. Okay? Total sales pitch, car sales pitch, total scam. Okay? But that was what got Mrs. Dyer wanting to hire this attorney that Darren Wilburn and Amelia Foxwell requested. He also lied and said he had all these awards, which none of it was true. This is where Albert Hawk, his father was a prosecutor, okay, a district attorney. Albert Hawk wants to be a prosecutor, a district attorney. You never hire a prosecuting attorney or someone who was brought up around prosecuting people in on a criminal defense case. You just don't do it. And this is what these people did for Charles. And they have done nothing to help fix it. And they're the ones responsible for finding and requesting. And then this attorney giving a horrible sales pitch that Miss Dyer fell for, okay, to get her to pick that attorney out of the other 5 that were she was looking into. So Darren and Amelia, what's up with you guys? I mean, where's your more support? You're frauds and you know it. And Charles knows it now too. So all the bullshit you've been saying about me, just wait. Charles has something to say about it publicly very soon. Okay, so this is not over yet. Okay, we're still fighting for Charles Dyer, and I hope those of you who believe in Charles and believe in his innocence will step forward and help. Okay, my email is at the bottom of this, at the end of the video. Please get in touch with me. All you haters out there, keep saying what you just keep it up, okay? Because the more you keep stirring and keep bullshitting, the more I have to help prove to others what's really going on here. Your actions help me, believe that. Nancy Genovese, you're a fraud. You've done nothing for Charles, and he knows it now. Okay, you're a liar. And all of these people are liars, and they were part of the reason why this man is sitting where he's sitting now, and they've done zero to help him at this point. Nothing. And this is where the fight really should be starting. We should all be really, if these were good people trying to help Charles Dyer, then they would be like, oh my God, let's figure this out, let's help. No, they're going to try to say they helped research on the appeal. Lies, okay? They might be helping Mrs. Dyer, or we're helping Miss Dyer with some stuff, but nothing for Charles. Not the real help that he needs. Just to fake out Mrs. Dyer, but not. Charles is very awake now. So please get in touch and be looking for another video soon with a lot of the proof of what I'm claiming about how how his trial really happened. So peace out, keep the faith, and please get in touch with Charles, everyone. He needs your support now more than ever. Thanks for tuning in.